How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Cracked Open Games and Toys. Today we got a special one to take a look at here. This is Sideways from the Age of the Primes line. I believe this is a Walmart exclusive right now. That's where I found them, and it took me a while to find them even there. I'd seen some stores getting massive quantities of him, and I believe it's Exilian, but this is the first time I was able to come across him, so I picked him up. And yeah, we'll take a look eventually at him in comparison with the older Cybertron / Galaxy Force Sideways, also known as Noisemaze in that series. And yeah, Cybertron, I could never get into it, but I love Galaxy Force. Just the dubs in Cybertron and how they tried to kind of shoehorn it into the Armada universe. Couldn't get into it, and the dubbing was just so bad. But man, I watched all of Galaxy Force. I loved that show, and Sideways / Noisemaze was one of my favorite characters from that. So yeah, we'll go ahead and take a look at him, and later, after we go through a transformation, we'll check out a comparison to the original toy as well. Alright guys, so without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the actual packaging. Alright, so what we're going to get inside the box is our Sideways / Noisemaze figure here. His weapon. And this is actually really cool. The old one had a Cyber Key gimmick on it. This one has a switch, so if you want him in the Decepticon or Autobot emblem there, you just move the switch. Literally just a sliding mechanism right there, back and forth. And you can get those different emblems there, whichever you prefer. He does actually have the Cyber Key as well. It's much smaller than the original one, and it's not clear, it's just painted plastic, but it does plug into the weapon just like the old one did, and you just slot that in there. I'm looking at the wrong part. And it does slot in and everything. It does not actually activate anything. This is all manual here, so if you want the weapon to come out where the old one was spring-loaded, you're going to have to just manually do that, and you can splay it out. Again, I'm not sure, I can't remember if this is supposed to be like a crossbow or something, or what's going on there, but it's kind of a unique weapon. Looks cool. And you can pop that right on his arm too, whichever arm you prefer. And he's going to come with his 2 wing pieces as well. Now these are kind of modular. You can go ahead and use them as a weapon if you want to do that. And kind of plug in one on the top and one on the bottom. You want to give him some sort of like double-bladed weapon. There you go. Or you can just slot them into the legs, just like the old Cybertron Galaxy Force version. And there's just little ports on his legs they just pop right into. And there you go. Alright, as far as articulation is concerned, take a look at that real quick. The head is on... it's just on a swivel. You're not going to get anything more than that. I guess you can look up and down just a little bit, but it is a ball joint, but that's why you're going to get those slight little angles on it, but it's not much. Just because of the way that the plastic is molded around the head sculpt and everything, you're not going to get much there. The shoulders, you have full 360. You're going to get out to about there. Rotation at the bicep. You're going to get all the way back and forth with the elbow and full rotation at the wrist. No opening, closing hands or anything. This is a deluxe scale figure, so not going to get that. It does have a, the back part of the cape, these wings here can actually fold up if you want them to. He does have a complete rotation at the waist. Legs are kind of cool. This is exactly like the old one as well. And you're going to get out to there and all the way around town, forward and back. You do have a bend at the knee, which is insane due to transformation. So quite a big, generous bend there. And which the old one didn't have, which is really awesome. You're going to get rockers finally on the feet too. And the feet also have forward and back rotation on them as well. So a little bit of an update there compared to the old one. And next we'll go ahead and just do a 360 with him all suited up. And there he is in the 360 on the turntable. And you'll be able to see it more in the comparisons when we get to that part, but this is just a really nice update to Sideways. And this being my favorite Galaxy Force / Cybertron figure and character for that matter, man, I'm really happy they chose this figure to do an update with. Maybe we'll be able to get a few more in the future. And as always, before we get started with the transformation, here is a copy of the instruction booklet for your reference. And I'll just go through exactly what the instruction book, but this is very, very similar to the Cybertron / Galaxy Force Sideways. Alright, there you go. We'll take a look at the transformation next. Alright, let's get started with the transformation. We can go ahead and take all this weaponry off, and we'll pop the wings off too, because we need to. I know everybody hates the parts forming, but that's what this guy was in his original version, so, you know, that's what we're going to do still. Would have been nice if they figured out some way to do that efficiently. But anyway, let's pop open the chest piece here, and his head is going to unhinge, and you're going to bring that all the way up, flip it around, and then just lever that back down and press it in. These horns on the side of his head are going to stick out a little bit. That is fine. That is the way it's intended to be. You can go ahead and close that up. Come around to the back and go ahead and lift up both of these wings. On the front, we're going to lift up this whole section here. And then we're going to also angle this back so he kind of gets a little taller in this process there. Let's come around to the back again, and we're going to rotate both the arms down. Then you're going to want to rotate the arms inward. And then rotate the fists facing upward. We can then use this hinge that are going to be both sides there and just rotate at the shoulder inward. And when you do that, you're going to get these pieces on the forearm to tab into each other. That's all going to fit together just like that. We can come around to his midsection now, and this post right here is just going to, you can kind of see where the slot is right there. You're just going to rotate this whole section up. Then we're going to come back to these heel spurs here. Go ahead and tuck both of those in on both feet. On the underside, we're going to rotate, and I find if you keep this upper thigh joint there, just where it's supposed to be without rotating that, you just rotate these guys in. Now we're going to fold. Now this is where you saw those gracious knee joints. We're going over the articulation, but those just accordion back onto himself. That's why it has so much give there at the knee. Definitely needed for the transformation. So then there is a tab here on the upper, or I guess it's on the shin section, and that's going to fold into, get a picture of it, better view of it, right here on his wings or cape or whatever you want to call them. So we're just going to kind of maneuver that back into place. Make sure it snaps in. We're good. And we'll do it on the other side too. Cool. And then the feet, I'll show you where those tabs are, right here, and light right there. And you just fold the feet in on those tabs. Now you kind of get blocked with the heel, and you're just going to have to kind of maneuver it around, and then it will snap into place. So same thing on this side. Just watch out for that heel coming in, and just press on the toe a little bit, and it'll pop right into place, and then you can peg it in. We are going to then take his weaponry, and if you still have that post out from robot mode, you can just go ahead and fold that in. This is going to rest on, there are 2 tab joints there, and one larger one there, and that's just going to peg into the roof. So there we go. And the last thing we need to do is pop his wings in place. These are like suicide wings. They face forward. So slide those into place. And yeah, that's it. Do a 360 on his alt mode next. Alright, there's the 360 of his alt mode. I love this thing. This has to be one of my, I think him and Soundwave from Galaxy Force Cybertron are 2 of my favorite alt modes. And maybe, I'm not sure if a lot of other Transformer channels have like retro reviews, but I think that might be something I start doing on this channel, because I've got a lot of older stuff that I just love, and I haven't had an outlet to share it yet. So if you guys want to see some like older Cybertron, maybe some alternators, stuff like that from like the early 2000s, let me know. Post a comment, and I'll try to get around to that in the future, to do some retro style reviews. But anyway, there's the alt mode. Really like it a lot. Let's come back with some final thoughts and compare it to the older version of Sideways. Alright, here's a comparison directly with his original Cybertron Galaxy Force version. And I'm going to say that I believe this is a better figure, but this one does still have some pros. I'll talk about the negatives first. This thing does not have any type of ankle tilts. It was added from a generation that was not part of what was required or just a main thing on a figure. There are also some, with wear and tear, there's some joint issues. I mean, there's so much weight on this thing from the weapon. Another minus is this thing is pinned onto his forearm there. So that is not coming off unless you do some modification. And yeah, that's just, a little bit of an older figure. It's going to have some of those drawbacks. The new one has all those conveniences. It's got those ankle rockers and everything, which we showed earlier, which is really nice convenience. It does have the detachable weapon, so if you want him with or without that, or just want to place it somewhere else on him, you can do that. And yeah, I think that the joints are much tighter on this thing as well. And we'll do our Combiner Wars shake test here. And I mean, a little bit of give, but not too bad. You don't even want to really see what this thing looks like on the shake test, but yeah, you already saw there a little bit. It is it's a 20-year-old figure, man. You got to give it a little bit of grace. But I suppose if you want to do, these are just bald. These are not pinned in on the old figure, so you could tighten those up with some nail polish if you wanted to at those joints to make it a little sturdier. I never did that with mine, but he still stands pretty good without doing that. Now, the pluses, let's get to some different places here. There's better color hits on this one. There's more color applications. And you can see, like, with the greens and stuff there, Same thing on the other side. You got that green hit, which is really awesome. It just kind of breaks up the, the Halloween scheme of black and orange with a little bit of silver. Even on his weaponry too, he gets I think there's a little bit of the green hits on the new one. But yeah, a lot of cool coloring on the original one, as well as it having transparent plastic on the actual weapon and a transparent, translucent cyber key, which is popping out of there on me. And I don't know if you'll file this under a plus or minus, but the old weaponry was, mine wants to work, spring-loaded, which is, like I was saying earlier, with those symbols, the emblems that change. This one worked off of the cyber key gimmick, and where that would change on that and splay spring-loaded on that. Or in the new one, you're just going to get, you got the cyber key. It is this painted orange. And same thing with all these blades here. These are just solid orange plastic. There's no paint there. And the paint hits are missing there. Missing. And also, I'm noticing now too, there's translucent effects here up on the original one as well. Okay, let's take a closer look at that in a second, but just wanted to show you guys, we get a little bit of green there. But yeah, back on the, I'm noticing in the light now too, this has got a whole transparent front hood on it. Get it to open up, there we go. Yeah, whole translucent piece in there. As well as the head, you can't see it too well because I don't have a backing light, but the head has translucent plastic in there too. So, I don't know, man, the old one is still really good. Still a really good figure, just missing some of those modern conveniences. Where this one, I think, could have been, I think it's a better figure. Like I said, I really do. But could have been even better if they added some stuff like those translucent plastic pieces there that it looks like they just kind of skimped out on. That would have been awesome on the new one. As well as the head, too. The old head looks so much better with that translucent piece in there. So, I don't know. I think that the toy itself is better here, but if it had some of the extra paint hits and some of the extra like translucent plastic from this old figure, man, they could have had a real amazing figure here, because it's much more solid. It's a better articulation and everything, and it has the modular weapons. If they had just gone the extra mile to add those little touches in there, man, they could have been like a 10 out of 10 sideways figure. So yeah, guys, thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this look at Age of the Prime Sideways. I hope you can still find one out there. I saw stores that were like, pictures online of these Walmarts being stocked with them, and it took me forever to find them, and I still never came across Exilium. So maybe I'll find him in the future. Maybe I'll pick him up too. But yeah, good luck, good hunting, finding this guy. He is a really cool figure. Thanks so much for joining me today. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Drop a comment down the bottom if you've got any questions or anything. Or like I said earlier, if you've got any older Transformers you'd like me to take a look at and I have them in my collection, I'd be more than happy to. So yeah, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Take care and have fun.